it's Candice from Grow Local, and welcome back. We're doing another one of those garden starter packs. If you have pictures up on the weekend and you got the container packs, you should have received 2 5-gallon buckets and some seedlings and some seeds. They will give you the seeds in a brown paper bag, and there's no guarantee what you're going to get, but as a good idea, this package has dill, spinach, 4-variety lettuce blend, some radishes, and some sprouting seeds too. So you've got lots to play with when you're doing this. You'll also get a 50-liter container of soil that you can use for putting in your containers. Now I'm just going to go through and show you how you can pot these things up. But first I'd like to say, if you didn't pick up your packages and you don't have the containers, not to worry. There's lots of things that you can probably find around the house so you can carry on and do it anyway. This size container, you can plant a lot of stuff in here, a whole variety of things, and it will be absolutely wonderful and easy to manipulate, and it'll just do well. However, if you don't have those kinds of containers, this is what the kids planted up. They took a green garbage bag. They poked holes in the bottom. They put 6 inches of soil, and they put their seed potatoes in. And this is how much it's grown in the last couple of weeks. When they get to this size, about a foot tall, we're going to take soil and we're going to pop it into the bag, roll up the edges, and pop it into the bag so that it comes right up to there with soil. And that's all you need sticking out. And it'll grow some more. When your bag gets probably half full, then you can just let it carry on and grow. You'll get some flowers. About 10 days after the flowers show up, you can stick your fingers in the tops of the bags and you'll probably find some little marble-sized potatoes. The kids will get excited and you're off to the races. There are also buckets like this. Sometimes the floral shops will give them away. You just have to make sure that you put holes in the bottom. Or you can hit the dollar store and get waste paper baskets. You might have ice cream tubs. You might have the infamous general store buckets that you get. Oh, what do you get in them? You get them empty. That's all I do. I go buy the empty bucket and put a lid on it. You can use your flower baskets. This is just a window box, and it has a Swiss chard, a pansy, parsley, some lobelia, and this is one of those little mouse melons or cucamelons that can grow to be like 10 feet tall. So it's kind of fun. And here you have it, edible and ornamental. Now we'll go back to planting. Big bucket, big bag of soil. I filled the other one up already. I didn't really think you needed to watch me do that. You'll firm the soil in a little bit. You don't want to make it like a brick. Don't go pushing down so hard that the new roots aren't going to be able to get in there. And I did cheat a little bit. I took it out of one bag and out of the other bag. You will also want to make sure that your soil is probably, it never goes more than 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the top. And the reason for that is when you go to water it, you want the water to be able to puddle in here and stay in here and soak through, not run off the top and all over the patio or the balcony and down onto your neighbors. So in this one, this is where we would plant some of the seeds. And one of your seedlings that you might get is a Swiss chard. And this is a rainbow, and it gets fairly deep roots, fairly thick, and he gets to be quite a large plant. He can grow up to about that size, okay? So you want to give him room. He may never get to that size if you keep coming and cutting off the leaves like you're supposed to do and enjoying it. It just keeps growing new ones. You might get some onions. And if you're wondering why mine are like this and not in pots, we didn't actually have access to the seedlings yet. We haven't picked them up. So I'm pulling stuff out of my garden and just showing you, just so you have an idea. So there, I've tucked in some onions and I've got some Swiss chard. I'm going to put in my favorite. You guys know that from last year if you were here. There's my nasturtium. Because the leaves taste lovely and peppery. They're really good in salads. And then what do I want? I think I'm going to pop in some radishes. These ones are really good if you're starting to do this with kids because they grow really fast. It's only like a month and they're ready to eat. The seeds are large enough for small fingers to handle. And if you were to throw some carrots in here with the radishes, when the radishes are done, you pop it out and now it's left a hole and a space for your carrots to fill in. So I've got just some radishes here, and you've got options, you guys. You can make little rows if you want, or you can just scatter them. And that's all I'm gonna do is just scatter them. They'll come up when they're ready, and you can pull them when they're ready. So that would be bucket number 1. It doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but it is gonna grow. Your onions are gonna get bigger. If you've got the green ones, you can just snip some of the tops. You might have chives. You can snip those all year. I do have chives growing in the corner over here, and they're just starting to bud. And those flowers, you can use those in your salads too, but please remember to leave a few of them on the plant because they are really good. They attract the beneficial insects that you want to have in your garden for pollinating and eating the bad bugs that are going after your stuff. In the second bucket, this is usually the one that you're going to plant your tomato in. And I'm not sure what size the seedlings are that you're going to get, but I've got 2 sizes here. I'm going to plant this one. Again, a lot of times you wouldn't plant it quite this early. It depends on what the weather's going to be like. Most people don't plant their tomatoes until the very end of May. If it gets crummy weather, then they just stay stunted, and the ones you plant later boot up and they end up all the same size anyway. So just play it by ear. If you've got 2 tomatoes, do one in one pot, do one in another pot. Check the times and see what works for you. Now when you take these out, I'll tell kids to do an L for love because plants love to be protected in this web. This is where you would put the stem of the plant. So they will put their hand on top of the pot so that the stem's right in there. Then they just use their hand as a plate. They tip it over, squeeze the pot to loosen the soil, and when they pull the pot off, they have the root ball in their hand. They haven't broken any stems, they haven't pulled any leaves off. One of the things about tomatoes is they have little hairs growing all up the sides. And the deeper you plant the tomato, the more roots you're going to have coming off, and the sturdier it will be in the pot. So I'm going to actually plant it up to here. I'm just going to pinch these guys off. Make my hole. And there. He's tucked in. And what I absolutely love with my tomatoes is basil. And again, you can get different kinds of basil. This one is from, well, this one's from Grow Local, West Coast Seeds. And you'll see that the seeds are really tiny. They're just little black ones. And for little kids, it might be hard for them to get a hold of them or even see where they went. So again, I'm just going to sprinkle them. There is another company, and you can get these coated, and it's like a clay mixture that they put on it so that it's easier to see. And they look like that. And remember, each one of these little seeds is going to turn into a plant. So you'll probably want to space them. I'm going to have lots of basil in this pot. But they also love growing around tomatoes. When these tomatoes start growing up, once they start getting flowers, you can pinch off the leaves and stems that are below it, which gives more room. And then when that midday sun hits, the leaves actually provide a little bit of shade for your basil. They grow really, really, really well together. And that's pretty well it. Easy peasy. So look for the kinds of seeds that you think your kids are going to be able to handle, or which are even easier for you. there is just a myriad of things that you can grow in pots. And like I said, we will put on the Grow Local Facebook page, we're going to have a list of pot sizes and how many plants you could actually put in each pot. I have seen them where they have taken a pot this size and they have put a bamboo stick in the middle, put 3 pole beans around it, and then they made a circle of all these pots and had everything meet in the center. It's great if you're renting and you're not allowed to dig in the garden. And if you do it that way too, then when it all fills in, the kids kind of have a tent that they can go into and read their books, hide from the sun, have a break. So anyway, there you are. Those are the container packs from Grow Local this year. Thanks.